I found out my wife was cheating in the worst way possible, by accident. 1 minute, I was just a regular guy grabbing a beer from the fridge, thinking about the weekend, and the next, my whole world flipped upside down. You ever have a moment like that? Where reality smacks you so hard, you just stand there, frozen, like an idiot. Yeah, that was me. But let's back up. I'm Jake, 34, work in construction, nothing fancy. My wife, Emma, beautiful, smart, the kind of woman who could light up a room. Or at least, that's what I thought. We'd been together for 6 years, married for 3. And until that night, I had no damn clue she was screwing someone else. It all started with a phone. Her phone. Emma was in the shower, and her phone, her precious, always locked phone, buzzed on the kitchen counter. I wasn't the snooping type, but this time, something felt off. Maybe it was intuition, maybe just dumb luck. But I glanced at the screen. Can't wait to see you again. Last night was amazing. Winky face. My stomach dropped. My hands clenched into fists. My first thought? Nah, it's a mistake. Wrong number. But then I saw the name. Chris. I knew a Chris. A friend of hers. A co-worker. The guy she told me not to worry about. The one she casually mentioned, laughed about, acted like he was just some harmless dude at work. I stared at the message. Heart pounding. Mind racing. I had 2 choices. Ignore it and pretend I never saw it. Or dive in headfirst and find out just how deep this rabbit hole went. Guess which one I picked? I unlocked her phone. Yeah, I knew the password. She didn't think I did, but I did. And what I found? It wasn't just one text. It was months of messages. Flirty, dirty, intimate. A full-blown affair, detailed right there in black and white. Every "I love you" she ever told me? A lie. Every late night at work? A lie. Every time she kissed me and smiled like nothing was wrong? A lie. I sat there, gripping that phone so hard my knuckles turned white. My vision blurred, my ears rang. I wanted to scream. Punch something. Smash that goddamn phone into a million pieces. But I didn't. Instead, I took a deep breath. Because anger is useless without a plan. And at that moment, I knew exactly what I was going to do. This wasn't over. I barely slept that night. My mind was a war zone, flipping between heartbreak and pure, unfiltered rage. 1 second, I wanted to scream, break something, burn everything down. The next, I felt like curling up and pretending this nightmare wasn't real. I kept replaying moments from our marriage in my head, desperately searching for signs I had missed. And oh, there were plenty. The sudden late nights at work. The phone always face down. The way she used to laugh at my jokes. But somewhere along the way, that laughter became forced. How did I not see it? How did I let myself become this blind? By morning, I knew I couldn't sit with this alone. I needed someone to talk to. Someone who wouldn't feed me empty platitudes about forgiveness or tell me to work through it. I needed someone real. So I called Matt. Matt had been my best friend since high school. A straight shooter. A guy who never sugarcoated a damn thing. If anyone was going to help me get my head straight, it was him. We met up at a diner down the street. The moment I sat down, Matt took one look at me and knew something was wrong. Dude, you look like shit, he said, stirring his coffee. What's going on? I took a deep breath and told him everything. The text, the messages, the lies. By the time I finished, Matt was gripping his mug so hard I thought it might crack. That's some real bullshit, man, he said, shaking his head. You gonna confront her? I exhaled slowly. No, not yet. Matt raised an eyebrow. Then what? I looked him dead in the eye. I want to make her feel what I feel. But I don't want to just yell and fight. I want her to regret this in a way she'll never forget. Matt smirked, leaned back, and crossed his arms. All right, now we're talking. We spent the next hour tossing ideas back and forth. At first, it was just venting, burning her clothes, keying her car, the usual petty revenge stuff. But the more we talked, the more focused I became. This wasn't about petty revenge. This was about control. About flipping the script. By the time I left that diner, I had a plan. A damn good one. Revenge isn't about anger. It's about control. And now, I had it. The first step? Selling her damn car. Emma loved that car more than anything, probably even more than me. A sleek, black BMW that she used to flaunt like it was an extension of her own ego. She'd polish it every weekend, talk about it like it was a damn trophy. Well, guess what? It was about to be gone. I had already checked the paperwork. It was in both our names, which meant I had every right to sell it. And that's exactly what I did. A quick online listing, a couple of well-placed ads, and boom, gone in less than 24 hours. Some college kid showed up with cash in hand, giddy as hell to get such a deal. I barely even haggled. I just wanted it gone. And the best part? I used the money for something that would really sting. I paid off the last few months of my truck, cleared out some bills, and then, oh, this was the cherry on top. I booked myself a week-long vacation in Hawaii. First class, ocean view, all-inclusive. With her money. Now, the real fun part, the gift. Something to remember me by. I went to a print shop and got a massive canvas made. A beautiful, high-resolution image. Of what, you ask? A screenshot. One of the texts from her beloved Chris. Can't wait to see you again. Last night was amazing. Winky face. I had it framed. Classy, elegant. Just like she liked her decor. And I hung it in our bedroom. Right above our bed. Then I packed my bags, locked up, and left. By the time she got home from work, I was already sipping a cocktail on a beach. But let's rewind a bit. Before leaving, I made sure to set the stage just right. I left her keys on the kitchen counter with a handwritten note. Oops. Looks like your ride is gone. Enjoy walking. Then I made sure to reset all our smart home devices. No more access for her. Changed every damn password I could think of. She'd have to beg just to turn on the lights. And to make it even sweeter, I called her mom. Told her everything. See, her family thought I was the golden boy. The perfect husband. And Emma? The picture-perfect daughter. I made sure they knew exactly what their princess had been up to. I even sent her dad the screenshot. By the time she walked through the door, the weight of everything would hit her like a freight train. No car. No access. No secrets. Her reaction? Oh, I'd pay to see it. But I already knew one thing for sure. She'd never forget this moment. And neither would I. Emma came home to a nightmare. I was sitting in the living room, feet up on the coffee table, sipping on a cold beer like it was just another evening. The second she walked in, I saw it, confusion. Then panic. Then rage. Where the hell is my car? She snapped, slamming her purse on the counter. I took a slow sip, savoring the moment. Sold it. Her mouth opened, then closed. She blinked. What? You heard me, I said, setting my beer down. Gone. Just like our marriage. She went pale. You had no right. I laughed. A low, bitter chuckle. Oh, I had every right. Check the paperwork, sweetheart. Both our names. And guess what? I figured since you were spending your time writing something else, you wouldn't need your precious BMW anymore. She actually gasped. Like this was the most shocking thing in the world, not the fact that she'd been screwing around behind my back. Jake, I can explain. Save it. I stood up, stepping closer. Explain what? That you've been lying to me for months? That every late night at work was just another night with Chris? She flinched at his name. Bingo. Tears welled up in her eyes, but I wasn't buying the act. Not anymore. You sold my car, she whispered, like that was the biggest betrayal here. Yeah, I said. And guess what? I used the money for something useful. Cleared some bills, paid off my truck, and booked myself a nice little vacation. Her lips trembled. Where? I smirked. Hawaii. First class. All-inclusive. While you're stuck here figuring out how to get to work on foot. Her face twisted in fury. You're an asshole. I leaned in, lowering my voice. And you're a cheater. So tell me, Emma, who's worse? She had no answer. Just stood there, hands shaking, breathing heavy. Then she did the one thing I wasn't expecting. She dropped to her knees. Please, she whispered. Jake, don't do this. I messed up, okay? But we can fix this. I stared down at her, at the woman I once loved. And for a split second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But instead, I twisted the knife a little deeper. You know, I said, crossing my arms. I had a long talk with your parents today. Her eyes widened. No. Oh yes. Your mom cried. Your dad? He looked ready to disown you. I sent him the messages, Emma. All of them. Her hands flew to her mouth. You didn't. I nodded. And Chris? He might want to check his inbox too. She let out a strangled sob. Why are you doing this? I grabbed my suitcase, headed for the door, then turned back one last time. Because you deserve it. Then I left. I was done with Emma, but I wasn't done with the message I wanted to leave her. She needed to feel it, deep in her bones, the way I had felt every ounce of her betrayal. See, selling her car and outing her to her parents was just the beginning. The real gift? That was waiting for her inside the apartment. As I boarded my flight to Hawaii, I imagined the moment she'd walk in, exhausted, humiliated, probably thinking she'd hit rock bottom. But she had no idea I'd dug the hole even deeper. Here's the thing. Emma was careful with her affair. At least, she thought she was. She used a second phone, kept things discreet. But she made one fatal mistake. She trusted Chris. And Chris? Well, let's just say he wasn't as discreet as she hoped. Before I left, I made a little visit to his fiancée. Yeah, that's right. The bastard wasn't just sleeping with my wife. He was engaged. To a sweet girl named Lauren, who had no clue what her soon-to-be husband was up to. So I fixed that. I met Lauren at a coffee shop, showed her everything. The texts, the photos, the hotel receipts. I let her sit there in stunned silence while the reality of her perfect life crumbled around her. And then, I handed her a key. Emma's apartment, I said. She'll be home soon. Thought you might want to say hello. Lauren didn't say much. She just took the key, stared at it for a long moment, and then nodded. That's when I knew. Emma was about to have the worst night of her life. But I wasn't quite done yet. Before heading to the airport, I made sure to cancel all the credit cards that were in my name. The ones she used for shopping sprees, dinners, and those little weekend getaways. She wouldn't have access to a single dollar that wasn't hers. And just to add a little extra sting, I packed up everything I had left at the apartment, every single item that belonged to me. The furniture, the TV, even the damn toaster. I left her with nothing but the framed screenshot of Chris's text hanging above our bed. When she walked through that door, she'd be stepping into an empty apartment, her furious lover's fiancé waiting, and absolutely no way to clean up the mess. By the time I landed in Hawaii, my phone had already started blowing up. Missed calls, angry texts, begging, threats. I turned it off. I stepped out of the airport, breathed in the ocean air, and smiled. Because Emma finally understood just how badly she had messed up. And I was free. It's been 6 months since I walked out that door. 6 months since I boarded that flight, turned off my phone, and let the chaos unfold behind me. People always ask me if it was worth it. If the revenge, the planning, the execution, if it really gave me the satisfaction I was looking for. The truth? I still don't know. The first few weeks were bliss. I spent my time soaking in the sun, drinking cocktails, and living without a single ounce of stress. No more wondering if she was lying. No more late-night suspicions. No more checking her location like some paranoid fool. I was free, and it felt good. But here's the thing about revenge. When the fire burns out, all you're left with is the smoke. And sometimes, it chokes you. After Hawaii, I moved to a new city, got a fresh start. New job, new apartment, even a new routine. I cut ties with almost everyone from my old life, except Matt. He was the only one who really understood, who didn't judge, who just let me be. I never checked up on Emma. Not once. But one night, curiosity got the better of me. A quick search on social media told me everything I needed to know. Chris? Gone. Dumped and humiliated. His engagement shattered. Lauren made sure of that. Emma? She moved out of the city. No trace of her old life. No flashy pictures. No fake smiles. Just silence. Did she deserve what I did? Some would say yes. Some would say I went too far. Maybe they're both right. Maybe there's no clean answer. But here's what I do know. I don't regret leaving her. I don't regret reclaiming my life. Do I still think about it? Sure. Some nights, when the world is too quiet, I replay the moment she dropped to her knees and begged. Not because I miss it, but because I wonder, did she really love me, even a little? Or was I just convenient? I'll never know. And maybe that's for the best. Now, I focus on myself. On building something real. Maybe one day, I'll trust again. Maybe one day, I'll meet someone who won't make me second-guess everything I believe in. Until then, I'll just keep moving forward. The other day, Matt asked me if I'd ever forgive Emma. I laughed at first, but then I thought about it. Forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the past. So maybe, one day, I'll forgive her. Not for her sake. For mine. But I'll never forget. And Emma? Wherever she is, I hope she finally understands what it feels like to lose everything.